Hey, friend, and welcome to the Roundtable Podcast. I'm your host, Brazi, and this is where we get real. We get real about life, love, lessons, and everything in between. We have no filters, there's no sugarcoating. We just have real conversations that will make you think, laugh, and sometimes you'll even check yourself a little bit. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite drink before you do, and let's get into it. Now, today's conversation, I want to talk to you guys about why people get mad when you don't pay them any attention. You ever notice how quiet it gets when you stop reaching out first? How people who used to blow your phone up suddenly goes missing when you stop entertaining them? Sis, they're not mad because you changed. They're mad because you stopped feeding them what they were addicted to, and that was your attention. So let's talk about that for a minute, because when you focus, when you're focused, it shifts from them to you. Some people, they take that as an insult. Now, the first thing that we're going to get into is that attention that I was talking about. You know, attention is a form of energy. It's validation. It's supply. And some people, they don't even realize how much they depend on attention until it's gone. You was the one that was giving them therapy, free therapy at that. You was giving them free entertainment, free love. You was giving them free hype. You was being a hype man, okay? And they got used to all of that. But the moment that you stopped, when you just started focusing on you, those people, certain people, they started to miss that. They felt the withdrawal symptoms, just like they was addicted to drugs, a drug. See, they didn't miss you. They missed how you made them feel. And that's the difference. It's a big difference. So let's talk about that for a minute, okay? Now, we have something called the ego factor. And that's when a person who has like a big ego, they think that they're running the show. But your attention becomes their mirror. If they have a crowd, the crowd, that's like their mirror as well. It's what tells them that they're still relevant. It tells them that, putting on and making a show, it just makes them feel important. But the very moment that you stop responding to all of that, the moment that you stop watching them, the moment that you stop liking, hyping them up, yeah, they lose their reflection. They lose it. And for people who have like fragile egos, losing the center of attention, losing all of that, it's like torture for them. It's not about love or sisterhood or friendship anymore. No, it's not about none of that. Now it's about control. See, what you didn't know is that you was never supposed to outgrow your role in a story. You were supposed to play that role for years. Stay in your lane and hype them up and undermine yourself and make them feel like, they bigger than you or whatever the case may be, right? Literally, you're supposed to stay in your lane and know your role. Okay? Now, y'all know that how I talk about the silent treatment sometimes? Well, sometimes silence is louder than any argument. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop defending yourself, when you stop showing up for people who wouldn't even clap for you, who not gonna clap for you, who's not gonna like your pictures heart anything that you put up. Those people, they're not going to do that for you, okay? This is what we call clout chasers. Whatever it is that you got going on, okay, whatever win you might get, no, that they're not, we've talked about it before, they don't like that because it's taking the flashlight, the spotlight off of them, okay? So suddenly when you do that, okay, now when you stop showing up for them and stuff, suddenly, okay, all of a sudden, oh, they mad. They confused. They want to call you fake. Yeah. But see, what they really saying is this. They're saying, why you not giving me this, the same energy that you used to? That's what they're saying, low key. And let me be the first, y'all. Let me be the first one to answer that question for you. It's because your energy endured. It ended. Okay? It ended. It stopped. I mean, you outgrew them. What used to excite you about them, now it drains you. Now it's like exhausting. What used to entertain you and people, now it embarrasses you. Now it's like you don't have time for that mess, as we call it. That's growth, sis. All right? That's growth, bruh. For anybody that's listening, that's growth. Okay? Now, here is the spiritual shift in that. When you start focusing on peace, when you start focusing on your leveling up, when you start focusing on your motion, what you got going on, when you start focusing all of that stuff, gossip, what used to entertain you, what you used to focus on and you used to be in the mix of, when you stop all of that and start focusing on you and what you got going on, guess what? Drama starts sounding loud. Gossip looks cheap to you. You don't do that no more. You done leveled up. You start craving calm instead of chaos. Okay? That shift that threatens people, those people we talking about who's addicted to chaos, addicted to the limelight, them people now, they can't reach you the same way they used to be able to reach you. They can't trigger you. They can't pull you back into their storm. Okay? That chaos, that attention, all of that ain't nothing but a storm. So now that the access is not granted, okay? Now that you've moved on, you're not paying them any attention. You let them be over there and still, that's right, still do the same thing, right? Instead of working on themselves, guess what they do? They start projecting. They start calling your names. Now you're arrogant. You're distant. You think you all that. You're fake. They'll start a smear campaign. Some people will even try to gain alliances against you, period. All because you stopped. You stopped entertaining they bull jive. All because you stopped entertaining their dysfunction. All because now you still their friend, okay? Hey, hon, hey, how you doing? You still their friend and stuff. You just don't, you don't put yourself there anymore. You're doing other things. You're focusing on other things. You're focusing on leveling up, traveling, taking pictures, doing whatever. You're focused on that, okay? You're focusing on that and not that. Point blank, period, right? So, y'all, you got to watch out. While you're doing all of that, you have to watch out for those, what you call them, guilt trips. The sudden, oh, you changed. You're not the same. What happened to what happened to when you used to be like this and honey, we used to do this and you got, man, all that stuff is gonna come. Those comments, they're gonna come just out the blue. Okay, them random messages trying to pull you back in. Those subliminal shots, trying to make you feel guilty, like you wanting to do something different. It's saying something negative about you. You in the wrong. You in the wrong for not wanting to literally do the same thing that we've been doing for the last damn 10 years. Now you want something else. You're not even watching the same reality shows now. Now you're watching something that makes you feel good, that motivates you for what you don't, tapped into your passion. You could have tapped into a hobby or anything. Okay? You just don't do the same thing because you tired of knocking your blessings. Period. Okay? So they're not checking once they send those, the messages that come out the blue. I'm gonna tell you this. They're not checking on you. Okay, they're sending the messages, but it's not like they, checking to see if you good. No, they're sending those messages to see if the door is still open. They're trying to test the waters. They're trying to test the temperature. And they just want to see if they can gain access to you again. If they can pull you back into doing what they doing. Y'all, I've told you in the past, no, most people now, you can be right with them. You can even be beneath them. Ain't no way in the world. Most people, you're not going to surpass them. If you do, most people will try to pull you back down. It's like, the lobster in the aquarium, okay? They'll try to sabotage. They'll do the smear campaigns, all of that stuff, okay? Y'all know this is life we're talking about, okay? So when they start that, trying to test them waters, trying to see if that door is still open, let me tell you, here go the truth is, okay? They had access to you before. But just because they did before, just because, you used to do them same things, with them before, that don't mean that they still have access to you now. That don't mean that. Because now you're looking at things different, you tapping into things a little bit different. You moving different, okay? So I'm just saying. So let me tell y'all, people who get mad when you don't pay them attention, all they doing is showing you what they really value. And it was not you. It was the access to you. It wasn't the connection. It was the hyping that you was doing. It was, being their friend. It was putting them up, making them, seem like they was this, that, and the third. And they wasn't. You was shining the flashlight on them. You was they hype man. You, okay, was like you was they backup singer or backup dancers, okay? Period. When that flashlight should have been on you the whole time, had you been tapping in to what was already there. Now that you have, it's a problem. You're getting everything that we just literally, I just discussed with y'all, explained to y'all, okay? It's the access, right? It's not the connection. The access that they had, okay? That's what they missing. That's what they want, but they can't have anymore. It was never the friendship. It was never the relationship. It was never the connection. It was not that. It never was, and it never will be, okay? Protect your peace. Protect it like it's a paycheck. Protect it like it's a stack of Honduns, okay? Because in a world full of noise, in a world full of weirdos, in a world full of snakes, your silence is powerful. I've talked about that before. Your silence is powerful, okay? Move silently. Move silently. If they could not handle your boundaries then, baby, they will never, ever be able to handle your heart going forward. So I'm just saying, if anybody, please, if anybody is in confusion of this, revert back, rewind it, listen to this episode again. And I want you to remember, sis, it's not rejection, okay? It's not rejection. You didn't lose them. They lost access to you. You was the prize all along. That's why they didn't lose you. That's why they did not lose you. Okay? They just lost access to you. You're still there. You're just moving different. All right? Period. Point blank. Now, I do want to let y'all know that that's today's conversation. That's my message, guys, okay? I appreciate everybody that pulled up, that listened. I appreciate everybody that was a part of something real, okay? I want y'all to remember that the Round Table Podcast, This space is all about growth. It's all about accountability, showing up as your best self. Even when it's hard, even when it is hard, when life is throwing lemons at you, make lemonade, period. Okay? If this episode, it hit home for anybody, make sure, y'all, make sure that you like, you comment, share this episode out with another woman. Okay? Hopefully, she'll join us on the next episode. She'll join us around the table because y'all know it's room for everybody around this table, honey. Okay? Until then, friend, y'all stay grounded, stay graceful, and never forget your story matters. It's your girl Kim, and I am out.